Then we can build some structures for the beans to grow up. So that's the plan. Okay.
Welcome back to episode 4 of Reclaiming Resistance. I'm your host, Kat. For many of the women that we support, life has been shaped by control over their time, their movements, or even their bodies.
They're a bit too small. You just put it
Just
nearby.
beside it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You put it beside the little one, but the long one you can wrap it around it.
Today, we're in Gillespie Park, gardening. In these sessions, women reconnect with nature, with themselves, and with one another. There's space to breathe, to plant something new, to watch it grow, to move slowly. It's not just about flowers or vegetables. It's about care and reclaiming the time that was once taken from them.
There are one or two which are a bit taller, I did notice. Like on that side.
Oh my God.
That one.
Hey!
That one can hold.
3, she said 3, yeah?
Yeah,
We've got 3.
Yeah. You can see the poppy flowers. Have a look. They're in
Coming
that.
out.
No, they will burst open in a couple of
Is this
days.
spring onion?
I think these are garlic. So what we can do to see if they're ready,
And then cut them.
you just make a little, just dig around a little bit and see what does it look like. Is it ready to come out?
The garlic.
Wow, this soil, you can see how
hard.
dry and
It
hard
is.
it
They
is.
didn't water it.
Yeah, so we need lots and lots of water. Better that we leave it.
Yeah, just to look under them to see. I didn't know garlic looked like a spring onion. The
Yeah.
leaves. You know these leaves, I would like to cook them, you know? Because we normally use garlic, right? But we never use the green. We only use the spring onion, you know?
I bet it's nice.
No, salad.
Stir fry noodles, you can use that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What tree is that one?
Must dig it deep.
What tree is that?
I'm just having a look. Oh,
No, it's broccoli, that one.
Is it?
It's a broccoli.
it's,
but
yeah.
it's too old one.
Where's the scissors? I'll probably try to clear the time.
For many survivors of trafficking, especially Black, minoritised and migrant women, freedom doesn't lead to safety. It leads to detention. I recently spoke with Amy, a support worker at Hibiscus, where she leads specialist support services in an immigration detention centre. Her role is vital. She works directly with women in detention, many of whom are victims of modern slavery and human trafficking. I spoke with her about what really happens to women in detention and how the system not only fails them, it re-traumatizes them. Amy's role is multi-layered. She provides emotional support, helps women understand their rights, and acts as a bridge between them and a confusing network of legal representatives, the Home Office, and other external organisations. Her team also runs group sessions and signposts them to appropriate services that they need. It's practical and deeply human work. She wanted to be part of an organisation that allowed her to go the extra mile, and says Hibiscus gave her that chance. I asked Amy how survivors of trafficking end up in immigration detention to begin with. She told me it's not always straightforward, but certain patterns are painfully common. Authorities raid areas typically in the community where they suspect criminal activity or where there has been a tip-off from a member of the public. This could be a cannabis farm, a brothel, or even a private home. Everyone gets arrested, regardless of their situation. And crucially, language interpreters are not there. Amy explained. Most of the time, they don't stop to ask, is this person willingly committing a crime, or were they forced into it? Are they actually a victim? Many victims will not have any form of identification, a lot of the time because traffickers deliberately withhold their documents. That alone can lead to detention. It becomes a default decision, Amy says. You don't have the right to papers? Well, then you must not have the right to be here. But what's often missed is the deep and ingrained fear of authority figures that many victims have. Many women have already been punished or manipulated by traffickers, so when they're detained, they usually comply. They might even deny being victims, not out of dishonesty, but out of survival. Later, when they do speak up, their silence is used against them. Amy explained, they'll be told, well, why didn't you say this before? But a lot of the time, they don't even know what trafficking is. This is where Amy's work really begins. Amy and her team work to gently uncover the truth. They have specialist knowledge to notice certain indicators of exploitation, as well as taking into account the specific vulnerabilities they face as Black, minoritised and migrant women with insecure immigration status. Through daily one-on-one support and careful listening, she and her team help survivors slowly piece together what's happened to them. Sometimes they don't realise that they've been trafficked until they start telling their story, she explained. We help them spot the indicators. We help them to name it. Once a woman agrees to move forward, Amy's team raises their case with a first responder, this can often be the Home Office, to initiate the formal referral process. But the barriers don't stop there. Most women in detention lack proper legal representation. Some arrive after being transferred from prison, where they were told to plead guilty to crimes that they didn't commit. Amy says, we've had women say their solicitors didn't even explain their rights. They were just told, you're not going to win this case, so plead guilty. Then there's the lack of understanding, or even opportunity, to explain their story. Some don't know the definitions of trafficking or modern slavery, some are too ashamed or traumatised to speak, and others simply aren't given the time or notice to prepare for key interviews. Amy said, when you're told at the last minute that you have an immigration interview, you're not mentally ready. And even if you are, it's still distressing. Now imagine having no time to process it. She's seen all types of exploitation in her work: domestic servitude, sexual exploitation, forced drug production. But it's not always recognised by the system as trafficking. Survivors are expected to fit into boxes they didn't even know existed. They are simply criminalised as a result of their race and their immigration status. The detention centre itself, the environment, adds to women's trauma. The women she supports are more usually than not suffering with complex mental health problems as a result of their exploitation and then being detained. Immigration detention replicates the environment of being held captive. Being locked up again after being held against your will is devastating, Amy said. When the guards do night checks and you hear the keys and the commotion, for some women with PTSD, that can be extremely re-traumatizing. Even staff being in uniforms can make some women just shut down. There's a deep mistrust not only of officers, but of interpreters too. Amy told me how women regularly report issues with translation. Sometimes they say the interpreter didn't translate everything, or they seem to be siding with the perpetrator's perspective, she said. But they can't explain that, so they just feel ignored and they just get on with it. Most interpreting is done by phone, often in a chaotic setting. Sometimes you can hear people crying in the background of a call, Amy said. It just doesn't feel professional, and no one asks a victim if they prefer a female interpreter. This is so important, especially if they've experienced sexual exploitation. Even the system meant to protect survivors, the National Referral Mechanism, usually known as the NRM, falls short. The NRM is supposed to give survivors time to recover, Amy explained. But in detention, you don't feel safe. You're stressed. You're still locked up. Access to legal advice is another hurdle. Specialist solicitors are scarce and their services are stretched. Some offer partial help, like help with their bail, but not with trafficking claims. And even when a good solicitor is found, it can take weeks to get an appointment. Meanwhile, the woman is still in detention, deteriorating. Years ago, Amy said, if someone received a positive reasonable grounds decision under the NRM, they'd be released quickly. Now, women stay inside for months, indefinitely. I ask Amy what she thinks needs to change, and her answer is clear. Once someone is identified as a potential trafficking survivor, they need to be released. She called for more trauma-informed staff, more access to specialist services, and more notice given to the survivors before interviews. Even just sending a letter beforehand makes a difference, she said. She also stressed the need for basic things: translated NRM leaflets provided during induction, face-to-face interpreting options, asking women their interpreter preferences, including gender. It's small changes that could have a big impact, she says. I then asked Amy what those listening on the outside can do to help. Start by being non-judgmental, she said. People assume detention is for criminals, but we know many of these women are victims. If you work in a custodial or immigration setting, she urged, know who the first responders are, know what to do when someone discloses, know that it's urgent and that it's serious. And if you hear something worrying in your own community, in a school, in a supermarket, anywhere, raise it. When I asked Amy what keeps her motivated in such a heavy role, she didn't pause. It's seeing the women take small steps, like coming out of their room, speaking up, joining group work. We work hard to build their confidence so they can advocate for themselves. And I think just having our presence in that space really helps. We're not in uniform. We're not the authorities. That matters.
Some along the back, and you've got a good bed there, and we've got a bit of space here.
Yeah.
So what you need to do, you can see at the top here, this stuff, this is called wood chip. We put it on.
In this part of the episode, I speak with Katherine and Elena, the facilitators of our gardening sessions. Through their work, they've helped turn a small outdoor space into something powerful for the women that we support. We talk about how gardening can be a tool for recovery and what it means to co-create spaces of growth and trust for women who have experienced deep harm.
And also I've got lots of compost, and we put compost in the ground.
Can you tell us a bit about Gillespie Park and how you got involved in this work?
So my name is Elena. I'm part of the nature conservation team here at Islington Ecology Centre. I have been an apprentice here for 2 years, and I also collaborate with another member of staff called Louisa. She's a nature conservation officer, and we became involved with Hibiscus through a direct request for collaboration. So the women's organization Hibiscus reached out to us seeking opportunities for their members to engage in gardening activities. So as Louisa was outside in the garden, Indigo from Hibiscus really liked the place and said, oh wow, this is such a good opportunity to collaborate. But because we were kind of short of staff, it was such a lovely partnership between Hibiscus, the Ecology Centre, and also Octopus that made this possible. So recognizing this mutually beneficial potential, we welcomed this opportunity.
Hi, yes, I'm Katherine, and I've been working with Octopus Community Network for a couple of years now. I started there as a volunteer during lockdown, and I really enjoyed being outdoors. And then one thing led to another, and I got a job there.
What drew you to working with the women that Hibiscus supports?
So we were drawn to work with the women supported by Hibiscus due to our shared dedication, and we like to do as much as community engagement as possible, particularly with hard-to-reach and disadvantaged groups such as immigrants, and we place a strong emphasis on creating inclusive and accessible programming to benefit all.
I work with various different groups, doing gardening sessions, running sessions, when it depends on the time of year what we do. And what I really enjoy, and one of the purposes of Octopus, is to work with groups who maybe don't have opportunities to go into gardens and would benefit from this. So when I found out more about the work that Hibiscus does, it seemed to be a really good opportunity to expand the sort of work that Octopus like to do. So giving women who maybe don't have opportunity to grow things, or even come from backgrounds where they're growing and don't have the opportunity here, and really enjoy this and feel happy outdoors growing, it seemed like a really good opportunity.
Can you describe what a typical garden workshop looks like for participants?
Yes, so gardening workshop at our ecology center works by Hibiscus charity organization, bringing the women, and then those women are led by a professional gardener who, with our support, helps them learn the art and science of gardening to grow and harvest their own produce. So in the beginning, what I really liked was that the gardener encouraged the women to express the preferences for the plants they would like to cultivate. So this personalized way was very good for empowering them, I believe.
How do you create a safe and welcoming space for people who might be new to gardening and in a period of healing?
I think the important thing is to start sitting together and have a chat, and it gives us all a little bit of time to see how people are, what they come with, whether they look like they're full of beans, lots of energy, raring to go, which some are, and other ones are a little bit quieter. And it's also an opportunity to say, how are you physically? Maybe you've got problems with your back or walking, you need to sit. So we can tailor the session according to what people need. So I make sure also that there is a variety of different things to be done, so that if you need to sit or you've got problems with your back, you can also be actively involved. If you've got more energy, you can expand that by doing the other things. The important thing is for everyone to feel safe to say that they're not happy, or they've got a bad back, or they don't feel safe, and that the group together is really supportive. The women tend to be incredibly supportive to each other, which I found really an important part of the group itself, as well as the people from Hibiscus who come to support, who understand a bit more about the needs and can guide people or give them a bit of help if they need it.
So the hands-on nature of this workshop allows the participants to actively engage with nature, with all the senses. So it fosters a very deep connection to the environment, and also a sense of accomplishment, because they can witness the plants that grow, mature, and it's also a nice platform for collaboration, empowerment, and also provides women with valuable knowledge and skills that they can apply in their own gardens and their own communities. So we try to establish an inviting atmosphere within our nature reserve in Gillespie Park. We usually use a signage or try to produce posters and other ways of promoting inclusivity.
From your experience, how does working with soil, plants, and nature help people who have experienced trauma and exploitation?
So the people who take part in gardening activities often find a sense of accomplishment as they see the process of growing in their plants, the nurturing and the caring part in their gardens. There is a boost of self-esteem and confidence in that. And also it is believed that gardening is a therapeutic approach of finding peace among the stresses of our daily life. And not just that, but also building relationships with others. They develop a sense of community, support each other. They feel more connected to the natural world, and also acquiring new skills. But in terms of the experience, it's very rewarding for all of us, because even though this is a collaboration, we all feel more connected. So it's overall a positive change for all of us in terms of emotional and social well-being. It's a testament for the transformative power of nature.
I think from experience, what I'd say is that people like to have fun, and they like to feel quite childlike in a fun environment. So, for example, today we were mixing soil and compost and water, and it takes you back to being a child, mixing up mud, playing with soil. It's very grounding. There is no pressure. There's no right or wrong. And everybody was laughing and finding worms and very, very relaxed and creating a really nice environment. And then they can see what they're nurturing. The important thing is also nurturing a plant, seeing it grow, steadying it up if it needs a bit of support. And all of these things I think are really important because people like to care for other things as well as have a lot of fun and laugh.
Have you seen any kinds of changes in participants over time when they're gardening? You know, this could be emotionally, socially, or physically.
I think what I notice in these sessions is people coming out of their shells, particularly the quieter ones, and finding a sense of confidence in growing, playing with soil, that there is no right and wrong. They're not going to make a mistake. And that actually, when they see things growing, they feel really happy that they've achieved something, especially when they can take it home and make salad with the garlic that we produced today. So I think it's raising sense of confidence, a sense of confidence within the group itself, and laughing together and support for each other. Those are the main things.
So the rhythmic and the repetitive nature of gardening activities has a meditative effect. So in myself and also the women I've worked with, I've noticed that it promotes mindfulness and it reduces anxiety. So this is an opportunity for us to slow down, reflect, cultivate a sense of inner peace, and also the sensory experience of gardening, such as feeling the soil in our hands, smelling the fragrant scents of flowers and herbs and vegetables, or even hearing the sounds of nature around us, can help us all to reconnect with physical selves, engage our senses, and also looking at the garden, the whole process of it, it's just witnessing the cycle of growth, transformation, and this is such a good metaphor for personal growth and healing. So as individuals that care for the plants and witness their beauty, it unfolding between us, it's an inspiration and it gives a sense of freedom in a way.
Do you think gardening can help people reconnect with themselves or their bodies, especially after exploitation? And how do you see that happening?
What I observe is that people really enjoy being outdoors and they enjoy using their bodies, whether it's pushing a wheelbarrow around, whether it's digging a big hole, going around with big watering cans full of water, watering gardens. A lot of people spend a lot of time sitting. They've been indoors, they haven't been outdoors very much. And to be outdoors doing something very practical, quite straightforward, in a group together, I think is incredibly healing and fun.
In what ways does gardening promote a sense of community or belonging amongst participants?
Yes, so events like this, the collaboration between Islington Ecology Centre, Hibiscus and Octopus are a gathering place are opportunities for everyone to come together, learn from each other, celebrate the love of gardening. And all these communal activities build a sense of community spirit, solidarity. All of us share together experiences in a meaningful way. And also, we also find out that we can relate with one another more. So the overall gardening serves as a catalyst for building community and increasing relationship, share passion and the joy of growing together.
What do you learn from the people that you work with through these workshops?
Oh, so much. Maybe I learn more than they learn from me. One of the things that I've personally learned is the resilience and determination, because many women from Hibiscus may have faced significant challenges and obstacles in their lives. So by working with them, just creating these edible gardens, I got a deeper understanding of how strong they are in overcoming adversity. Sometimes their experiences have been very challenging, and their positive attitude and the sense of collaboration and just participating and promoting the gardening also promotes their independence in a way, their self-reliance, and also the empowerment. So I get inspired. I get to see firsthand the the transformative power of the accomplishments of individuals, and working together is amazing and creates a good space for everyone to grow and learn and feel good.
Yeah, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we've got lots of tuberose to plant in the sunny spots once we've cleared the beds a bit, yeah?
Sunny spot here.
That's
there,
the spot,
yeah.
Yeah. So
the most
before we
sunny spot.
plant, do you remember what you need to do to the soil?
Sorry?
Before you put new plants in,
Yeah.
what do you need to do?
You have to sort it.
We need-
sorry, I
we
know.
need
I was
to
here
put
before.
water
Sorry, I
into
won't
it.
tell them.
What's it? The soil to be more and put it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You have
water.
to-
And then this needs a bit of a
Chopping.
yeah, a bit of tidying up. And these 2 rosemaries are fine. So this bed, a bit of weeding, a bit of clearing the stuff that's this one as well.